Marcus Aurelius highlighted that, irrespective of the gravity of circumstances, there exists a choice in how we perceive and judge them. He conveyed, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." While Marcus's guidance may seem straightforward, its application can be challenging when we lack an understanding of the factors that lead us to feel harmed, and when we lack the wisdom necessary to instigate change. Fortunately, the ancient Stoics offer valuable wisdom in this regard. Generally, the extent of human suffering is largely influenced by the unpredictable nature of fate. However, the degree to which fate impacts an individual varies. The Stoics consistently asserted that a person with a resilient inner faculty would experience less suffering than someone whose emotional well-being is entirely contingent on external circumstances. In essence, their teachings underscore the importance of cultivating inner strength and resilience to navigate the challenges imposed by external factors. In this video, we explore multiple passages from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations with the goal of offering insights that can alleviate the sense of harm in our lives. By delving into specific excerpts from this philosophical masterpiece, the video provides a nuanced understanding of Stoic principles. My intention is to assist you in reevaluating your perspectives on challenging situations, drawing inspiration from the profound wisdom imparted by Aurelius. I invite you to join me on this journey, and stay with me until the end of the video for a comprehensive exploration of these timeless philosophical teachings. Let's dive in. Certain circumstances can be detrimental to us, but have no impact on others. Moreover, we, as individuals, often differ in how we perceive and respond to past events. Some of us may carry the hurt for years, while others manage to overcome negative experiences and prevent the past from negatively affecting our present and future. Equally common are those among us who perpetually feel harmed by potential future events, a phenomenon exemplified by our chronic worries. The Stoic philosophy posits that it's not the external world or the unfolding events, including those involving our bodies, that cause harm. Rather, it is our thoughts, memories, and fantasies about these events that impact us. Consequently, the key to resilience lies in the inner faculty, the one aspect of the human experience over which we have complete control. Stoicism advocates for fortifying the mind, rather than placing undue emphasis on external factors, which are considered secondary and should exert as minimal influence on our well-being as possible. In essence, Stoicism directs attention to the empowerment of the mind as the primary means to navigate the challenges of life. But what tools does Stoicism provide for this? The work Meditations by Marcus Aurelius contains several ideas that shed another light on the experiences we usually consider harmful. This work introduces transformative ideas that offer a fresh perspective on commonly perceived hardships. Through Aurelius' writings, we are encouraged to reinterpret life experiences, altering our perception of difficulties. The metaphorical image of being like the rock that the waves keep crashing over underscores the Stoic approach of cultivating resilience. By embracing Stoic principles, we can reshape our mindset, viewing hardships not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for personal growth and endurance in the face of adversity. The wisdom imparted by Aurelius encourages a profound shift in thinking, empowering individuals to confront challenges with a steadfast and unwavering resilience. Marcus Aurelius, aligning with Buddhist thought, regarded the mind as the sovereign ruler of the soul, echoing the sentiment expressed by the historical Buddha that nothing precedes the mind. This philosophical perspective underscores the profound influence of our thoughts on our emotional experiences. An illustrative example is the impact of how we perceive physical pain. Resistance and negative anticipation can exacerbate the suffering associated with it. Aurelius cautioned against allowing the mind to be stirred by the agitations of the flesh, both gentle and violent. While the precise meaning of agitations of the flesh remains ambiguous, it appears to address the experience of physical pain and the mind's role in its interpretation. The fear of bodily injuries, a common concern for many, often leads people to great lengths to avoid such pain. Life, however, provides no assurances that we will be spared from painful illnesses, accidents, or acts of violence. Marcus Aurelius, in acknowledging this lack of control over external events, asserted that nothing happens to anyone that he can't endure. This Stoic perspective suggests that, despite the unpredictability and potential hardships in life, individuals possess an inherent capacity to endure and navigate challenges with resilience. It encourages a mindset that allows for the acceptance of life's uncertainties, while emphasizing the strength of the human spirit to endure and overcome adversities. Marcus Aurelius discerns a crucial distinction between the inevitable physical sensations, such as pain, and the additional suffering that can be imposed by the mind's judgments. He advocates for a mindful approach to these sensations, advising against resistance to the natural feelings that arise in the body. The key lies in withholding judgment, refraining from categorizing the sensations as inherently good or bad. Certainly, let's delve deeper into the concept expressed by Marcus Aurelius regarding the distinction between pain and suffering. Aurelius suggests that the sensation of pain is an inherent part of the human experience and a neutral and natural phenomenon. Pain is viewed as a sensory or physical experience that the body undergoes. It becomes suffering, however, when the mind attaches judgments or interpretations to this pain. The famous saying, "Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional," encapsulates this idea succinctly. It implies that while we cannot entirely avoid experiencing pain, as it is a natural and unavoidable aspect of life, we have a degree of control over whether we allow that pain to transform into suffering. In other words, suffering arises from our mental and emotional reactions to the pain, not solely from the pain itself. An alternative perspective presented is that if we accept pain as a natural occurrence without immediately labeling it as inherently negative, we may not necessarily fall into the trap of prolonged suffering. Acceptance and non-judgmental awareness of pain can change the narrative. Instead of viewing pain as an inherently bad or harmful experience, we can acknowledge it as a part of the human condition. In essence, Aurelius is highlighting the power of the mind in shaping our experience of pain. By cultivating a mindset that doesn't automatically categorize pain as something negative, and by refraining from attaching overly negative judgments, individuals can reduce the likelihood of transforming pain into prolonged and unnecessary suffering. This perspective aligns with certain mindfulness and Stoic principles, emphasizing the importance of our reactions and interpretations in shaping the quality of our experiences. Aurelius further emphasizes the need for the judging part of the mind to remain silent even in the face of extreme physical distress. Whether the body undergoes injury or illness, he urges the mind to comprehend that event, both adverse and favorable, are inherently neutral, neither intrinsically good nor bad. This Stoic reasoning, initially applied to the agitations of the flesh, extends to various forms of pain. By adopting this perspective, individuals can navigate not only physical discomfort, but also emotional and mental challenges. It underscores the power of perception and the role of the mind in shaping the experience of pain, promoting resilience through acceptance and a non-judgmental mindset. Marcus Aurelius provides profound insights into the nature of emotional distress, asserting that it is not external events, such as insults, that inherently harm us, but rather the judgments and beliefs we attach to these events. The beliefs we hold about what others should or should not do contribute significantly to our emotional responses. For instance, if we firmly believe that we should never be insulted, we may experience agitation when faced with insults despite our convictions. Aurelius underscores that harm does not reside in the actions or thoughts of others, or in the constantly changing external world. Instead, it originates from our own capacity to perceive and interpret events. Those who live in constant conflict with the world tend to be strongly influenced by external stimuli, including news and personal affairs. According to Aurelius, this ongoing conflict arises from beliefs that do not align with reality. In essence, he suggests that the root of suffering lies not in external circumstances, but in the way we perceive and respond to them. emphasizing the importance of aligning our beliefs with the objective nature of reality. To alleviate this ongoing conflict, Aurelius suggests a shift in beliefs, advocating against demanding the impossible from the world. He deems it impractical and even irrational to expect things that cannot be delivered. By aligning our expectations with the inherent nature of the world, we can reduce conflict and emotional distress. This shift in perspective involves accepting that certain events, including insults or external circumstances, are beyond our control, leading to a more harmonious coexistence with the unpredictable nature of life. The pursuit of the impossible, as highlighted by Marcus Aurelius, is a strategy fraught with inherent flaws that are bound to lead to failure. This tendency is often manifested in subtle ways when individuals wish for outcomes that are unrealistic and not in harmony with the fundamental nature of the world. Aurelius draws attention to a specific group, the empty optimists, who exhibit unwarranted optimism, hoping for a future that lacks a solid foundation. These individuals, driven by an unrealistic positive outlook, may not have a grounded understanding of the challenges and limitations inherent in reality. Their optimism, while seemingly uplifting, can be detached from the actual conditions and potential obstacles in the world. Aurelius cautions against this disconnect between confidence and hope that is not rooted in reality. Confidence, grounded in a realistic understanding of the world, is a valuable attribute. However, when hope is detached from this grounding and ventures into the realm of the impossible, disappointment becomes inevitable. In essence, Aurelius urges individuals to cultivate a realistic perspective and align their hopes with the actual nature of the world. By acknowledging the limitations and possibilities inherent in reality, one can foster a more resilient mindset that is better equipped to navigate the complexities of life without succumbing to the inevitable disappointment that stems from pursuing the unattainable. Expecting a life free of illness, insults, or ridicule is likened to asking the impossible, akin to a rock trying to control the crashing waves. From a Stoic perspective, Aurelius emphasizes providence, signifying that everything unfolds as nature intends. Defects, including dishonesty, arrogance, and jealousy, are inherent parts of the world, coexisting with virtues, happiness, and sadness. Wishing for a world without these contrasts would be a futile endeavor against nature itself. Aurelius advises against seeking the impossible, acknowledging the inevitability of shameless, vicious, or untrustworthy aspects in the world. Life entails illness and death, just as the presence of people guarantees the existence of defects. Accepting this reality prompts a revaluation of expectations and a recognition that the universe, in its intrinsic nature, remains beyond our capacity to change. By relinquishing the desire for events to unfold according to our personal wishes and accepting them as they are, we can find a sense of contentment and immunity from harm. Aurelius celebrates the beauty found in decay and imperfection, urging an appreciation for the intriguing qualities of life's unpredictability and nature's recklessness. An aging face, a wrinkled apple, the ruins of a city we often consider beautiful, even though they have been subject to decay. I quote, "And so, if we have a feeling for, and a deeper insight into the processes of the universe, there is hardly one but will somehow appear to present itself pleasantly to us, even among mere attendant circumstances." Such an individual also will feel no less pleasure in looking at the actual jaws of wild beasts than at the imitations which painters and sculptors exhibit, and we will be enabled to see in an old woman or an old man a kind of freshness and bloom. End quote. So, why don't we treat life's adversities the same way? Life, overall, has a rough side to it. Many things happen that don't resemble our expectations. For example, a fiery romance between two people may arouse fantasies of a beautiful future together, but may end up in a vale of tears instead. Or a promising career backed up by significant experience in the field in various degrees may come to an end because of illness. And even when our lives are without hardship, and everything plays out as we had hoped for, we'll eventually end up sick and dead. So we could spend our lives resisting the ugly and be miserable when we experience it, but it's still part of the game. Oftentimes, it's adversity, not prosperity, that rouses creative people like writers, filmmakers, painters, musicians, and poets to bring about creations that attract attention. Instead of detesting adversity, we could develop an appreciation for it, like we accept the ridges as part of the bread, as much as the bread itself. The ugly always accompanies the beautiful, and if we only want the latter and detest the former, we deny nature as a whole. But if we learn to welcome misfortune as much as a stroke of luck, we're less shaken when life gives us lemons. Moreover, we can almost always find some good in the worst of circumstances. Misfortune can inspire us, remind us of our fragility, change our perspective on life, and lead us to become more compassionate to others. If we see beauty in whatever overcomes us, fate will hardly ever harm us. When our judgments work against us, we suffer. As outside circumstances lie beyond our control, we assign value to things over which we lack power by passing judgment on them. Consequently, events or situations beyond our influence can significantly impact our emotional well-being. If something perceived as unfavorable enters our lives, we experience a negative emotional response, and similarly, the departure of something desirable elicits distress. The potency of our judgments makes us more susceptible to the capricious nature of Fortuna, the unpredictable goddess of luck, chance, and fate. However, Fortuna cannot inflict harm upon us unless we permit it. Resisting Fortuna doesn't imply attempting to control fate, as fate operates independently of our influence. Instead, we have control over our perspective toward it. We can choose to resist, embrace, or accept what Fortuna provides, regardless of its perceived fortune or misfortune. In the context of experiencing harm, Marcus Aurelius suggests that our capacity to influence the actions of those around us is inherently limited. We may encounter situations where external factors, such as the behavior of others, are beyond our control. However, what remains firmly within our control is how we choose to respond to these external events. Aurelius encourages individuals to recognize the distinction between the uncontrollable external world and the internal realm of our responses and attitudes. While we may not be able to dictate or alter the actions of others, we have the power to shape our own reactions and interpretations of these actions. One option is to adopt a resentful and embittered stance, allowing negative emotions to take hold in response to perceived harm. Alternatively, we have the capacity to find beauty and acceptance in the unfolding of circumstances. This perspective aligns with Stoic principles, emphasizing the importance of maintaining equanimity and tranquility regardless of external events. By acknowledging the limits of our control over external circumstances and focusing on cultivating a positive and accepting internal response, we can navigate the unpredictable nature of Fortuna, the symbolic representation of luck and fate. This approach empowers individuals to preserve their emotional well-being, finding resilience and inner peace in the face of life's uncertainties. Indeed, as Marcus Aurelius suggests, it is within our power to direct our focus inward, practicing resilience rather than engaging in conflict with or attempting to control the external world. When faced with adversity, especially the opinions or actions of others, Aurelius advises adopting an equanimous stance. The negativity or animosity of others becomes their problem, not ours. Our task is to maintain a sense of inner calm and not allow ourselves to be swept away by the malice of those around us. From a Stoic perspective, adversity itself is not inherently harmful to our well-being. Its impact is determined by our response to it. The Stoic maxim, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been," encapsulates this idea. By exercising control over our reactions and choosing not to internalize the negative effects of external events, we can safeguard our emotional well-being. Ultimately, this perspective empowers individuals to navigate life's challenges with resilience and a sense of inner peace. Thank you for watching.